morning from the final day of Alton Towers. It's been an interesting season. It has had some highs, it has had some lows, and there's a lot of talk about the future, which we will cover in this video. And obviously, there's a lot of noise in the background, but we will be going out with a bang because, well, it's fireworks. So there's some in front of me right now. Ribbit rockets. So anyway, there's some audio playing right now about Alton Intelligence scanning us about designing the fireworks. But let's get inside. I might even get some rides done, you never know. It's going to be a busy one though, so and it's quite foggy. So Carly's also taking pictures of me right now. Anyway, see you in a minute. Right, let's start here in CBeebies, shall we? Because there's been quite a lot happened this year. I mean, they got rid of Postman Pat, which, I mean, it's obviously not aimed at me. Maybe it's less of an IP nowadays, I don't know. And of course they're putting in a Bluey coaster for next year, so that is one thing we know for certain is happening next year. This guy that we're on right now, the Get Set Go Treetop Trail thing, has been butchered because it is now a fraction of itself. Because it used to go through there and all the way around, and obviously as you can see we've now got the station and the beginnings of the new Bluey coaster. So this guy is a lot shorter, but listen, it's some development, it's change. I don't have young kids, so I don't know. Bluey's obviously popular. Maybe Postman Pat wasn't. I don't know. But yeah, that's the first thing. We'll keep going around the park because well, there's more to talk about from this season and potentially for future seasons. See you in a minute. Right, come over to X Sector. It's a strange little area in the park, to be honest. You've got Oblivion, which is coming up for 30 years old. Now, if you look at Nemesis, after 30 years they retract it. This was the first dive coaster though, so we don't know what the lifespan of one of these is. I don't think they would retract this because I don't think it has the same kind of cult appeal that Nemesis has. And if you look at every other dive coaster out there, they're all significantly better. I still think that's one of the best drops, but the actual ride, not so much. And then of course we used to have Enterprise over there, and we've just had some kind of temporary food stuff recently. Smiler, I mean, it's still a world record holding ride. Nobody's beat that. Maybe nobody ever will. Oh, unless they're in the Middle East, they might. But it's looking a bit dated. It's like needing a lot of TLC, although they have been doing that. The marmalizer, the effects on it have started moving again. They have been repainting stuff. So, you know, it's obviously not going anywhere. But yeah, this part of the park just feels like it's missing something, like another ride. Hopefully something comes in here. But yeah, what's your thoughts? There's the one-trick pony done. It's a good trick, but it is a one-trick pony. Operations on there were mixed. It said 15 minutes. They were stacking all the trains on the brake run, or shuttles, sorry, not trains. I went single rider, walked straight up to the station, and waited ages. So anyway, it's done, and we'll move on to whatever's next. I've just been to see a Christmas tree. I still enjoy that. I've done maybe 6 or 7 madhouses around the world. That is still my favourite. Partly because I can understand the story, because if you do the ones internationally, you can't. But yeah, it's pretty good. Carly came on it for the first time. She's not good with these kind of rides. She didn't like it. Well, no, that's not strictly true. She appreciated the ride for what it was. It's not for her. She looked at the floor the whole time, which becomes the ceiling and then become... Anyway, she's done it. So, and I appreciate that she always pushes herself to try new things. Right, I'm going to keep moving because the section beside us, there's a lot to talk about. So I'll see you over in David Williams. David Williams and this particular area. The future of it is definitely up for debate. I mean, right now you've got Gangsta Granny. You've got a little kids ride over there, the sort of bouncy tower thing. Then the Royal Carousel. You have a space where Flavio's Fabulous Fandango used to be, and you have an empty show building that used to be like a 4D Ice Age thing. So this area is kind of void, just lacking. Interestingly, this was supposed to open in 2020, was delayed to 2021. Now, we don't know what the licensing was on it, but I'm going to assume it was probably 5 years, which would arguably mean it's coming up for expiry. So potentially this area is going to change. Of course, obviously behind here is where Project Horizon could, should, probably won't be. For those of you who don't know, they applied for permission to put in a large show building with a ride believed to be some multi-dimensional coaster. They got permission, which for towers is extremely rare. And they don't often get permission to do stuff. And that's the problem. That permission expires some point next year, sort of between the start to middle of next year. If they don't start construction, even just a spade in the ground, that permission will disappear. And I think that's going to be very, very telling about the future of this place, because there's a lot of people, myself included, who just think Merlin aren't really focused on this park at all. They're obviously struggling financially right now, but this park seems to... Now, they've obviously done some stuff. We'll cover that later on. Toxicator, you know, the Forbidden Valley, etc. Bluey ride, okay. It just feels like this is the kind of forgotten child. So there's that, of course. Obviously, there is the old dungeons across there, which has been used the last 2 years for Scarefest for the Amigos in the Afterlife, which is really good. But there's a ride in there, and they didn't use the ride. And, like, they could have at least incorporated that into the scare maze, the family scare maze. That would have been quite cool. So this whole back corner of the park just feels like something is going to or needs to happen. I don't know if it is going to happen, that's the problem. And that kind of ties into the point that myself and a few others think it's probably time for Merlin to sell this park to somebody who cares. I don't know who that is, because I don't know who's got the cash, but yeah. What's your thoughts? This section just feels... I mean, it's dead. There's hardly anybody here. It's not a busy part of the park at all. So I'd love to know what the future is going to be, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Right, there's one thing that came back this year, after a couple of years of absence, is the Sky Ride. Not something I use a huge amount. In fact, I don't even think I've been on it this year. Judging by that queue, I'm not going on it today either. I'm curious about this one, because they obviously invested a lot of money to make it last longer and all that sort of stuff. From what I've seen, they didn't even tidy up the gondolas. They're all still scratched to hell. Anyway, it's one of those things. I think there's quite a few things where you need to spend a lot of money on the infrastructure underneath, and, you know, all the hardware in the bit that we see is probably the last on the list, unfortunately. But anyway, for those that need it, it is good to have it back, because this place needs a lot of walking. How are we doing? I'm just about to come up to Rita, so we'll talk about that next, because yeah. Right, so Rita, it's had a bit of a mixed year. We were here, your Experience Guide event, for its 20th birthday, and I found a new appreciation for the ride. We got multiple shots. We had ERT when the park had closed, and it was fantastic. I think it was my first front row, and I loved it. After that, we didn't break it, by the way, but after that, it was down for quite some time. Then it came back, then it went down for quite some time. I mean, it's currently back. Now, hydraulic launch coasters, they're closing all over the world, right? I mean, King Decat's gone. They are becoming more and more difficult to maintain. So its life is definitely kind of... It's not got a lot left, to be honest. There is... So the Scarefest, they had a new maze, Edge of the Forest, and it was you must escape the Lesh Wall. Well, here, obviously, is you must escape. So a lot of people are starting to wonder if that's a precursor to a retheme of the Dark Forest, because 13's a good ride. Rita doesn't really fit in anymore, and it just feels another area that's kind of abandoned and left. So curious what the future of this section holds. One other daft thing, when I was here the last time, I decided to do single rider and fast track for the same queue. Don't know who did that. That was a really bad idea, because it's really inefficient. So there's some... oh, sorry, that was 13. I'm walking past 13. It's just some weird operational choices. But anyway, let's get back on this. It looked like the front row queue was quite small. And I do like the front row, so if that's the case, I might do that. It says 40 minutes. Oh, I'm walking. They love a long queue at Towers, they really do. I'll see you when I get off.
Keep your head back. Hold on tight. You must escape. Go, go, go!
Did you enjoy that?
I'm allergy swear.
I'd rather you didn't.
It was very enjoyable. Front row's the best.
We just, to be fair, the front row queue was tiny. And it said 40 minutes in total. I think we probably waited 40 minutes for the front row, which is quite impressive. It may be a one-trick pony, but it's a good one-trick. That launch is fantastic in the front row, and a lot of fun. So I don't know what is next, because I think the queues are starting to ramp up a little bit. But I'll see you on something else in a minute. We're going to do 19. No, we're going to do 13. They've added 6 more somethings, I don't know.
Football!
Carly. Hey, it's Ben! How are we doing? Right, we are going in the fast track because Carly's a princess and she doesn't like standing.
You created it.
I created it. I got our fast track in Disney. And
I've
now...
never had fast track in my life, and I've been to parks for a long time. Never thought about fast track, and then you introduced it to me, so it's your own fault.
And now we're both skint. Milky bars are on her today, so I'm getting lunch. Let's go and do 13 and see when I get off. There we go, that's 13 or 19 as I called it earlier, done. Still some weird stuff with the kind of operations there. The merge point is just a bit of a mess. You need to kind of sort that out next year, hopefully. But I still enjoy that one. Still a good ride. Wish they could get rid of that trim brake on the first drop though. I'm sure it's there for a reason, but Carly never even noticed it, even though I said, look out for the bit on the drop where it kind of slows you down. Apparently it's just us thuzies that noticed that. Right, it's kind of nearly lunchtime. I just don't know if it's worth braving queues for food or queues for rides. So, find out in a second, won't we? This guy, right, opening day was a bit of a shambles for various reasons, but in there it wasn't great because they just launched these new tablets. They weren't fully programmed, and they made the decision that all burgers should be donuts, which I tried one, wasn't a good combination, at least not for me. They seem to have scaled it back, but we've just been in there to have a look. Obviously Carly's vegetarian. The vegetarian burger is still a donut. Like, they've got limited. It is new, but when you've got limited choices of vegetarian, forcing you to have a donut burger is a bit stupid. So there's still a lot of work to be done to the food offerings here. On the flip side, those loaded fries, which I can't remember if they're new this year or last year, on Tower Street, they are amazing. Good value, very, very tasty, great selection. So yeah, next on the food, I now don't know where we're going for food because it's not there. So we're going to go and find some food somewhere. I'll let you know what we have. Doesn't look like they've set up for tonight yet. That's quite a mess that makes. Obviously I've not been here the last 2 nights, but I have seen online Friday looked like a bit of a disappointing show, and last night seemed to be a lot better. Now, rumours circulating, not confirmed by the park, was that the weather on Friday was pretty bad and they couldn't set off the higher fireworks, but if that is true, and even if it's not, they got a lesser show on Friday. For some people they paid full price, so not ideal. Let's hope that tonight, the final show, goes out with a bang, because the Phalanx Expo last year was fantastic, and I'm really hoping, I don't think this is going to compete with the Phalanx Expo, but we can have a good send-off to end the season. That'd be fantastic. I said I was going to tell you what I was getting for food. Guess what? I got loaded fries again. So did Carly. She got the vegan ones. A few of you have asked me where it is. I'm sitting on Tower Street right now. It's just over there, over by next to Towers Trading. Stacked fries. It's not very fast from an efficiency point of view. There's usually 1 or 2 staff, so there's a big queue for it. Probably because it's, I think, the best food in the park. So I'm going to stuff my face and then keep on going around the park. Another thing that changed this year is the leadership. Bianca Samet was in charge of the park. She left a few months ago. Now, I guess as with anybody, some people like them, some people don't. I met her a few times, got on with her, I had no issues with her. It's kind of hard to tell what was her doing and what wasn't. Like, what was already in the pipeline before she got here, what couldn't she do because Merlin wouldn't let her. And obviously they've announced her replacement, who I think used to be at Chessington, and he starts next year. Again, the problem is I think they're kind of told what to do by Merlin, and Merlin doesn't seem to care about this park. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens in the future. There's still a few other things to talk about, but yeah, new leadership from next year. Curious if that's going to be a positive or not. Right, that's not ideal. I thought I'd get a wee shot on Kirsten go see Emily. It's another thing that's changed around here, right? When this opened 2 years ago, they had the Roman actors. Now, many of us thought the Roman actors were just going to be here for a couple of months just to kind of, set the theme, but they stayed. And then when the Phalanx came over in Forbidden Valley, which we'll get over to, there was loads of actors there. And I remember Bianca saying, why does everybody think they're temporary? They're an important part of the area. And I agree. Unfortunately, Merlin didn't agree, and all the actors have now gone. And it makes a big difference. Now, I know a few of you will probably be like, I don't care. I go to a theme park for the rides, I don't go for the actors. And I'm kind of the same, I thought the same at least. But when you've seen the area with the actors, and then they take them away, you can tell something's missing. Like, they really did add to that kind of atmosphere, especially over in Forbidden Valley. So, yeah, it's kind of sad to see. But I guess Merlin's been cutting corners because they're struggling financially, so who knows if and when they'll come back. But unfortunately, that's gone, and I ain't going to go see Emily today. Toxicator, new for 2025. I know many people say Ripsaw 2.0, and I get it, it's a similar ride. Those who know it's subtly different, it's a different model. I mean, they've elevated on a platform, just because that makes it the tallest. I mean, sure. It's a great ride, I really enjoy it, and I'm probably going to go on it once I'm finished filming this. They didn't have the best opening day though. There was a little bit of a problem with some sewage leaking underneath there. But I'm going to see if I can get Carly on this. I probably won't, but wish me luck, because I'm going to go and try.
Stability alert. Prepare for force opening.
Toxicator done. Queue time said 35 minutes. I did single rider, it was 25 minutes. It's not the best bus topspin out there. Doesn't compete with Talican over in Phantasialand. And the ride-up tried to embarrass me there because he went, oh, we have a very special birthday for a vlogger. It's his 40th. I mean, first of all, I'm older than 40, so I'll take the compliment. And it's not my birthday. But he said he did that to another vlogger earlier, so he's just trying to embarrass everyone, which is fantastic. Love those kind of interactions. Right, let's go over and have a wee chat about Galactica, shall we? Right, so let's talk about Galactica, shall we? Because I think everybody expected it last year to close for a retheme. This whole section has been completely upgraded and looks beautiful, especially at night. It is absolutely stunning. But this guy kind of stands out. Now, the expectation was last year it was going to get rethemed because Phalanx Expo sounded like it tied into it. Some of the rumours floating around are it was, and then budget cuts, it got canned. I'm kind of curious because it just feels odd. I kind of like it. I mean, it's up at 55 minutes right now. I ain't going to wait 55 minutes for it. It's not that good. But, yeah. I mean, many people would like to see them remove it and put something else in. I don't think they've got the budget to do that. So, even if they just gave it a power wash, because, well, it's filthy. It's absolutely disgusting. So a good clean would help, and a paint job. Doesn't have to be a massive retheme, but yeah, it just feels odd. There's quite a few bits around the park that are like that, so I am curious what the future holds. Good news, Emily's back. 20-minute queue apparently. Let's go see her. Right, so that was kind of working, kind of not. Trommel Tunnel was working, that's good. Loads of lights were missing though. Like, there was tons of lights out, which was weird. The head didn't pop out the barrel. A few other things didn't go off, so I guess, listen, it's a complex ride, there's a load of stuff goes on in there, so, you know, the odd effect. your average person wouldn't notice it, but if you've done it umpteen, like Carly probably didn't notice. Did you notice anything that was broken other than me moaning about it?
No, just what you pointed out. But I felt like I've done that ride a few times now, and I felt like it was darker, louder, and a wee bit spookier than normal. But I don't know if that's possible.
Carly was scared. Right. Aye. It was all right. It definitely wasn't 20 minutes. It was only 10, which is good. Right. I'm going to go and look in the app and see if there's any queues that are nuts, because everything was up an hour earlier. We also have our fast track in about an hour for Wicker Man, so might be that next. I thought I'd come in here to kill some time until the Wicker Man. It seems everybody else had the same idea, because it's probably the busiest I've ever seen this. So, sardines? That wasn't the best idea. That killed the whole 5 minutes. And it was hell, because there was far too many people in there. So I'm going to go and do Marauder's Mayhem, which Carly won't, because, you know, it spins. Carly don't spin. Right. See you when I get back off. Right, I have a fast track on there in half an hour, so I'm just going to sit here and wait. But one thing I haven't talked about was Scarefest. They sort of mixed up a little bit this year. They added a new zone and a new maze, Edge of the Forest and Dark Hollow. Now, they've been getting mixed reviews. Dark Hollow I thought was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. More so than Burial Grounds. Granted, I did them during the day. I believe if I went when it was darker, it would have been better, but I was trying to get home. Edge of the Forest, that seems to be quite Marmite. There are people who loved it. Carly really appreciated the concept of it. I just thought it was lacking. Like, the whole principle is that you're just going through the same thing again and again. So you go into a house, then into the forest, then into the house, then into the forest, then into the house, and into the forest. And every time it gets more dilapidated until eventually the Lesh Wall comes out, or I Am Groot, and tries to scare you at the end. It was alright. I still really enjoyed Compound, personally. Although I'm frustrated at that it's so varied. Great if you're somebody that does the mazes again and again and again. Not so great if you're somebody that does them once, because you miss so much. But, you know, it is what it is. The Altonville Minders, kind of think that's probably its last year. Could be wrong, but it'll be interesting to see what they do next year. But yeah, Scarefest was alright. It was reasonably enjoyable. Right, I'm going to sit here for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long it is, and then do Wicker Man in hopefully a little bit darker. It's getting dark. See you when I get off. That was a lot of fun. It's not quite a night ride. I mean, it's kind of getting dark. But that was absolutely hauling. Couldn't see a damn thing because there was so much fog. And Carly's face, she just had a massive smile the whole way around, which was absolutely fantastic. The one thing, and I say it every single time, they need to get rid of that baggage bit, and they need to get rid of that pre-show, because if they just let you put your bags at the side of the station, it'd be so much faster. And that pre-show, we've all seen it, we don't need to see it anymore. So anyway, there's an hour until fireworks. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. Actually no, there's 2 hours till fireworks. But I hear you're supposed to get there quite early, so I don't know what I'm going to do next. Probably some caffeine, because I need it. But yes, the smile on this little lady's face. You enjoy that?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
I don't think 13's her favourite ride anymore. I think it's now Wicker Man. Anyway, let's get some caffeine and see what's next. Right, I got some caffeine, but this is this weird period because it's just after 5. The fireworks start at 7, but they've already started shutting a number of the rides for fireworks. And what is still open is like over in Forbidden Valley, which I'm planning on doing after the fireworks, which I'm sure everybody else will too, because that's the way out. So I'm kind of in limbo now. I'm like, do I go over to Forbidden Valley to then come back again? I don't really want to go and sit for ages waiting for the fireworks. I don't know what else to do. I mean, Mine Train's got 45 minutes. Don't know if it's worth it. Hex, 20 minutes, we've already done it. Like, it's a weird bit of time. I'm surprised they closed the rides this early. I would have thought they would have closed them at like 6, but the fireworks at 7. Or at least closed the queue at like 5:30 so that they're closed by 6:30. Anyway, it is what it is. And we're not going to get on them. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. the next thing you might see could be some fireworks. We have a plan. Thoroughly enjoyed Wicker Man so much that we're back in the queue. It's a 70-minute queue, and it's definitely using the extended queue because it is massive. So if this is accurate, we should get out here about 6:20, and the fireworks start at 7. I mean, it means we'll be at the back of the fireworks, but that also means when they're over, we get out first. So let's see if this is actually 70 minutes, shall we? This maybe wasn't a good idea. Allegedly, we'll be off this ride in 10 minutes. We've not even hit the little hut with the, you know, where they do snacks and stuff. So we're definitely not going to get off this within 70 minutes. I'm just hoping I get out here in time to see the fireworks. Yeah. Right, that was a bit of a shambles. Queue times were massively wrong. That was not 70 minutes, that was 100 minutes. It is now 3 minutes to fireworks. So, I'm clearly not going to get a good view, and I'm going to have to leg it over there. See you in a minute.
I am begun. I hear your thoughts. I hold your memories. Your heartbeats race within me. I shall use them to paint the night with fire.
Right, I've kind of tried to find a bit of a quiet corner because the Rami has started to kind of get out of there. That was disappointing, to be brutally honest. Maybe I was spoiled last year by the Phalanx Expo because that was absolutely amazing. I think the irony of that one is that the whole point of it was scanning your emotions, and yet I didn't get any emotions from it. Like, it was just, oh, some songs. Ooh, flashy bang bang. Like, there was no storyline to it. Whereas last year there was a big story and all that sort of stuff. If you've never seen it before, it's probably great. And as a fireworks display, it was alright. But I've only got 2 to compare it with, or 1 to compare it with, so it's only 2 I've seen. Last year blew that out of the water. That was quite disappointing, to be honest. Yeah, and as I say, now it's just obviously bits of the park are still closed. They'll open some of it later. I'm kind of going to head over towards Forbidden Valley. I started the season on Toxicator, well, the day before it opened, so I'm probably going to end the season on Toxicator. But we'll see what the queue times are like when I get over there, and take it from there. I've come over here and it's claiming that both Nemesis and Toxicator are 5 minutes. Not sure I believe it, and the last time when we went in for a night ride in Nemesis, it took significantly longer. So I'm going to do Toxicator, and that'll be my last ride of the day, and indeed the season. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'd love it to be 5 minutes, but it probably won't be. Speak to you soon. I didn't even know there was a gate there. This is actually 5 minutes. Happy days. There we go, that is a wrap on the 2025 season. Let me know down below your highlight of the season. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in the next one. Adios.